It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. I want to thank everybody that actually acknowledges my show, subscribes to it over the world, and show me love. In the house of The Legends, I have two young guys that actually are DJs, and they started off very young, and they still are young. So in the house of The Legends, I give you Justin Miles, aka JustheDj, Amir Brooks, and what more can I say? Welcome to my show, The Legends.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start with you, Justin. Tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, where you're from,
Okay.
and we just start off like that.
Okay. Well, I'm a 16-year-old house music DJ from the state of New Jersey. I started over quarantine, getting into DJing, listening to different DJs that were live on Facebook, Twitch, you name it. My mom was rocking DJ Little Man in the house. So she kind of had me in there dancing with her because she playing on a speaker all loud. Nothing else I could do. Your mom plays something, you can't tell her to stop. So,
That's cool.
but that kind of got me into it. Started talking to my grandma because she's like the true house head of my family.
Right.
And she was telling me all her favorite DJs. I went on YouTube, looked them up. Timmy Regisford, DJ Qua. So they kind of got me into it, and that's kind of just how it started.
Okay. Amir, tell us about yourself, man, and how you actually got into the craft.
So my name is Amir Brooks. I'm 22. I've been DJing since I was 7. When I first started DJing, it was because I saw it on MTV. They had that DJ competition sponsored by Beats. So I remember that Christmas, I was like, I want a mixer. I want this. I want that. So I was blessed enough. My parents they gave me a little Newmart mixer.
Right. Okay.
And there I started making like little mashups, little different things, but nothing that sounded great.
Right.
Until I upgraded to like the Newmart Mixtrack Pro, and then I started. Then I kind of was introduced to DJing. I'd always heard house music in the house, Sunday morning cleanup, all that type of stuff. Whenever my dad's driving anywhere, he was listening to Alan King, listening to Naeem Johnson and all them, and all those people. So I always heard house. I never really we'd go to Lincoln Park every year.
Right.
But it was never something that completely I attached onto until I really started DJing. Then I was at a cookout. My cousin, he's also a DJ. He used to DJ at the Peppermint Lounge in Jersey, and Corey. He was playing, and I danced the whole night. And then I was like, maybe I'll try house music.
Right.
So next day I went on my computer, downloaded a bunch of house music songs that I could devise from my memory, looked up a bunch of classic house, and from there, I made my first mix. And then from there, I just kept making mixes. My dad started posting them on Podomatic, and a few of his coworkers were in the house scene. So that's kind of my introduction, and then from there, I kind of just kept growing. And then by 2016, I was doing festivals and all that.
It's very nice to know about where you came from, but when I first met you, man, I was impressed just by the type of music you was actually playing.
Thank you.
And I'm like, for a young guy, the music that you were playing were very, I can say, mature. It's like, you got a 16-year-old playing stuff like Donna Summers and things like that. I'm like, where did he get his library from? Where did he actually encounter this from? Can you tell the viewers about that?
So my process is a lot of research. First, I used to watch a lot of documentaries on disco and on the origins of house and music in the 80s and the 90s. And I've always liked music in the 80s and 90s more than current music. So I already have that ear for older music.
Right.
When I'm looking for music, I'm always looking for something that's either been updated or something that I can update myself.
Okay.
I like to go on YouTube and look up different DJs. Maybe one day I'll look up Mike Dunn's set from the Chosen Few Picnic in 2013, see what he was playing back then.
Okay.
And then just take from what I don't hear. you know.
Okay.
And Spotify is another big one. I'll put a bunch of songs that I already know that I'd want to play for an event, and I just do the recommended and just listening to all the songs that Spotify recommends and pick from there.
Justin, I seen a video of you, man. I was very impressed, and how did you actually get into the skills of knowing sound and things of that nature from mixing? Because you have to have a certain pattern of sound when you're mixing in order to make it clean. So how did you get into that phase?
Messing around with Beloved.
Okay.
It's been over Beloved House, see all about the levels and making sure you're not in the red and all this and all that. But I don't really get into like the sound too much. Like I don't know how to do sound, honestly. Beloved always wanted me to learn, but I never really stepped up the box to learn. So that's something I probably should learn. So when I go away for events and stuff and the sound not right, I'd be like, yeah, we got to fix this.
Okay.
So, because sound is a big part to playing out.
Right.
It adds a lot to the music. So.
Yeah, you don't want to do a mix, man, and have the highs and the mids together, and your bass is like, it's not a good mix. You throw the crowd off like that. You know what I'm saying? How did you get the name Just the DJ?
That's a good question. Honestly, my dad came up with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we was just like thinking about for a month, like, what should I name myself? Like, I don't have no name. So we was just thinking. My dad texted me one day, he just says, Just the DJ. And I was like, yeah, that's the one, that's tough.
When I first thought about that, it's like going to Pathmark and get a box of something with no frills on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like different. So tell me, when you first got your first crowd, let's say over 100 people, how did it make you feel?
It made me feel awesome.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of times they have me opening and it'd be like 5, 10 people there, and it's just kind of me practicing playing in front of people. And Ab was one of the first people to kind of put me on to like the big stage, I guess you could say.
Right.
He had faith in me. He had me closing. He had me like doing our own festival with Jihad and Mark, and it was just like, yeah, like he was my guy.
Well, you're around the heavy hitters, so they definitely look out for you.
Yeah, they do all the time, texting me different tips, listening to all my mixes and stuff. They like, do this differently, whatever the case may be. Well, I like this, you got your own style now, a lot of different stuff.
Amir, due to the fact that when you started to where you're at right now, how did you deal with the impact of how people actually received you? Because you sort of like, when you came on the scene fast. Everybody was talking about this kid named DJ Amir, and I was like, well, who's this kid? So, my cousin Irvin, when I came out to Coney Island that day, I'm like, who's this guy? This guy's young and stuff. And he said, oh, that's Amir, man, But through your success of what you're doing now and the journey that you're taking right now, how does it make you feel, man, to actually go out there and project energy to people and to give it back to you?
Yeah, I'm blessed to say I have both my parents in my life, so they kind of shield me from all the nonsense that was happening when I first came out and started DJing. But now to see where I'm at now, it's always humbling at first of all, and I just always am grateful that I'm able to play out and go and play out in front of people. Whether that's 10 people in front of me or 50 or 100 or 1,000. It's always nice to be able to make an impact emotionally on people with my music.
Have anybody ever said to you, like, or you ever had the idea that another DJ might approach you and they might say, well, he's just a kid?
Oh, no, yeah, that happens. So, that happens a lot.
Tell the viewers about that.
Yeah, so when I first started DJing, I remember vividly, there's a show called The Dollhouse, internet radio station, and I wasn't playing that week on The Dollhouse, but I came up, and a lot of people, the criticism they had of me was that I'm not playing on vinyl, I'm not playing on turntables, and that I need to learn turntables before I am able to go out, which I think is nonsense. And honestly, what these people don't know is that I actually do know how to play on vinyl, I do know how to play on turntables, but I'm not going out and mixing on turntables because it's more expensive instead of me just going to buy a controller. And I understand the whole idea of, giving your flowers and paying your dues, but at the same time, progress needs to be acknowledged.
I hear a lot about that, traditionally, I started off with turntables and stuff. When the CDJs came out, I didn't think it was actually going to last. It became a revolution, you know what I'm saying? And it's, to play on both is a blessing. I don't think that, I don't think that other DJs should actually give homage to where you came from. I think it should be at where you're at right now. Us as DJs, we are supposed to be entertaining, to actually entertain a crowd, to party, to make them dance, also break records. Do you guys agree?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
So let me ask you a question. Right now, Justin, who do you think is the hottest DJ to you right now? That actually will be an idol to you, to make you give that energy to keep it going. If you got more than one, that's fine.
Okay. Probably Timmy.
Okay.
Timmy Regisford. That's always like my favorite, one of my favorites. The energy he brings. He
Right.
does like 30. I heard he does like 30 edits a week, which is crazy.
Yeah,
I was
Timmy's
like,
always busy. Yeah.
like that's crazy. So he really does love music, and he is there for the culture. So he's always just rocking out constantly. Louis Vega, you know, Louis, he's all over playing for all types of
like the
different
god
crowds.
of house, man. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
But what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My assignment, my calling is to inspire, uplift.
You have to make sure your people are partying.
All I want to do is just bring joy to the dance floor and watch people dance.
And we're right back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, I have DJ, JustheDj, and I have DJ Amir. Hey, guys.
Hey, Doc.
So let me ask you a question, Justin. When you're out there playing and stuff like that, what be running through your head? How do you actually say to yourself, I'm a young guy, but I'm actually reading this dance floor? Talk about that.
So there's gonna be a lot going through your head when you be playing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you hear a lot of different songs. It's like I could play this with this, but it's like
Right.
what brings the most energy. And sometimes, you know, you might not even hear a song, but you like I gotta bring the energy. So you might just throw on a different song. So it's a lot that goes through your head. But
Right.
it's all about looking at the dance floor, about playing, giving them energy, like by looking at them sometimes, and it's a lot. It's
You
really
know,
is.
you ever get really, let's say, intimidated sometimes because you got the floor packed, then all of a sudden you want to put on something new and you lose your floor? How'd that make you feel?
I don't think I've ever had that happen.
Really?
For real. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe one time. I
Okay.
say one time. Yeah.
Well, it happens to all of
because
us.
I
really.
had,
I know that
yeah,
feeling.
it does. I had loaded up the wrong track, and then I played it, and I was mixing it, and I was like, this sounds a little different, but
Right.
it might just be my headset, because I had the headset booming. You know, when you
Okay,
have the
okay.
headset booming, it'd be distorting, and it's just like, you can't really hear the track. So I did that, and I brought it in, and I was like, this isn't the right song. And then the floor just cleared out, and I was like, dang. But, you
Hey,
know,
man, talk about that experience.
Yeah, you know, I've played my fair share of private parties and my fair share of public parties, so I definitely
Right.
have experienced
Yeah.
that where I'm somewhere and I want to place this amount of songs that I bought this week and the hottest new tracks or whatever. But then I get there and I'm playing and nobody's dancing and I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do. So then I go throw on some classics and, you know, the floor fills
Right.
up. But yeah, you know, whenever that happens and, you know, the floor starts to thin out and I notice the floor thinning out, I always get a little anxious
Right.
in my head and I start panicking a little bit. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
take a few puffs of my asthma inhaler, but but
I hear that.
you know, I always go back. I always have like a few songs in my head that I know. You know, I'll always have people dancing. So it's usually just about having that list of music that
Right.
can
Pack the floor with.
Yeah, pack the floor no matter who's at the.
It's like
at the party.
it's like starting a car all over again.
Yeah.
In a sense. Emil, let's talk about the Soul Summit. Now, I think you're about the youngest guy in history that ever did the Soul Summit. How did you actually get that gig?
So it's funny. It was honestly the weirdest experience because he got a Sadiq just texted me. It was just a text.
Right.
And like, it was for such a big thing. I was like, wait, I had to read the text like 4 times. I was like, Soul Summit. So
Right, yeah.
it was like, and then I ran downstairs. I remember running downstairs like, they want me to play Soul Summit. They want me to play Soul
Right.
Summit. And, you know, and then he asked me, do I want to open from this time to this time? And honestly, I was like a bit hesitant because I was like, first I was thinking, had a little bit of self-doubt, like, am I able to really fulfill this? And then secondly, I was like, you know, maybe there won't be anybody there in general. And then, you know, and I just got out my own head and said, you know, we're going to do this. And, you know, I prepared for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then we got there and there was
When
already
you
people.
seen-
Yeah, there was already people there. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
And like the dance floor was not even put together yet, and there's people standing at the fence, And I'll never forget, I put on "Taste of the Future," which is an a house track.
Right.
And I put it on loop because it was like an hour before I was even started playing.
Right.
But people started gathering and they just started listening over and over, and it was like they were in a trance.
Yeah.
So, by the time I start really playing, I'm already there with them. I already have them.
Right.
And it's funny. I actually talk about this in a documentary that I worked on for class.
Mm-hmm.
So, Soul Summit has had such a big impact on me, just on my career, and seeing that I've never played in front of that many people.
Okay.
By the time it was like the apex of my set.
Mm-hmm.
It was they estimated like 10,000 people there.
Yeah.
So and I'm glad that I was in New York. You can kind of play whatever and people dance. So I started off with Afro, and then I went classics, then I went back to Afro, and then I kind of flip flopped and kind of gave them a variety. So I'm blessed to have that experience, and I'm glad that it went so well.
Through both of y'all experiences, have you ever gotten into the political issues of the New York DJ and the Jersey DJ? Let's hear what you got to say about that.
What I find is that my political battles in the house community kind of stem from home.
Right.
So I really don't play at home that much anymore.
Right. Okay.
I would say 90% of my gigs in the past 3 years have been out. Whether that be across the sea or across the state, which I don't mind at all. I'd love to take a flight and go anywhere. But, I find more pushback from the people closer to me than farther away from me. And which I understand, a lot of people may feel threatened just because of our age and because of what exactly we do. But at the same time, a lot of people tend to be hypocritical because then at the same time it's them saying, pass the torch. And
I feel that the house community need guys like you to upgrade it to actually start a new generation because it's lacking in a sense, it's not really where it really supposed to be. I get a lot of feedbacks from a lot of DJs and stuff with the New York and the Jersey thing, and I'm like, I think it's ludicrous, really. I think that a person that talks like that is hating, seriously. Because if you have a craft and you're utilizing it, why should somebody judge you on it? I think that's crazy. Guys like you, we need. Because what if everything just panned out to the point where there's no more DJs left? What's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to ask both of y'all a question, and I want you to answer this through your experience because they got a lot of upcoming DJs coming out, might be even younger than you guys, and you guys might be symbolic to a lot of guys that's coming up. So what do you have to say to the guys, Justin, about the guys that's really getting into the field right now? What do you have to say to them to encourage them?
Just to stick with it, honestly. If you just stick with it, if you believe in it, I think you'll take off, honestly. Lil Star Grooves. He's not that well known. He's from Cali, and he's always in my Twitch chat. He's always like, "Yo, you inspire me. Like, you really motivate me to keep pushing on and keep doing this." And I'm like, "Yo, that's heartfelt right there. Like, it's crazy to think about. Like, I could be an inspiration to somebody, But he's always hitting me up. We talk here and there, and he trying to get over and play out more. That's like his whole big thing is playing out more. So I'm trying to maybe get him over here whenever I can. So it's a work in progress because he got some talent for sure.
Okay, Amir.
Yeah, to the younger generation, I always, tell them to keep pushing. Don't let the AARP members stop you from partying.
Wow, man. Hey, you just made my card expire, man.
That's just a little, that's a little joke we say.
Wow, that's okay.
We got a lot of older folks that don't like the younger generation in their business. So not to let them stop you.
I think that's hateful, though. I believe that a person should be allowed to be who they are.
No, yeah, and I find that, a lot of people won't admit that they're threatened by the next generation, but there's a lot of DJs that are. And then that, sprouts from, and then that turns into the whole debate of who's better than who, whatever that. But, us younger DJs everybody that I've interacted with have automatically stuck together and been companions rather than competition.
Right.
And I would say to the next generation, don't be afraid to hit me or Justin up, on Instagram, whatever.
And that's a good attitude, man. You're not selfish, and that's a good thing. That type of spirit would never get you anywhere. So I would like to say to both of you guys, man, congratulations on what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I believe that if a lot of people followed you, especially at your age, it'd keep them off the streets. And it's good to know that you come from good families.
Definitely.
And stuff like that. So before we even go, let's transition over to your more involvement as far as your future, like school, things of that nature. So let's start with you. Let's talk about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and where do you want to go?
Right now I'm in high school, sophomore in high school. I'm in how can I explain this? Okay, so I'm in a high school where I get 2 paths.
Right.
I can either go down the information technology side or business side, and I chose business as of right now. Before I thought business was a useless major, there's nothing you could do with that. And I was talking to my guidance counselor, she was just going down a whole list of all this stuff you could do with business, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. Sitting at a computer all day coding is not for me at all. I'm sorry, it's not. I got to interact with people. So after that, I plan on, of course, going to college for business. Not sure which one yet. I'm leaning toward HBCU as of right now. But as I start looking into it more, then I'll kind of decide. Right now, I'm at like a primarily white high school, so it's like,
that's cool.
Yeah. Before I was at, all my people. I was with all my people. So now it's like being at this high school is a little different, and it's like I like being around my people.
Well, I can say this for one thing. You wouldn't have a problem going to the prom, man. I think that you you probably get an invite from everybody. Hey, no, I want to go with him to the prom. You know what I'm saying? Man, let's talk about your future, man. Because we do this as a career because we like it, and we have a passion for it. But after we turn the CDJs off, we turn the mixer off, and we lay down the headphones, there's real life. So let's talk about your future.
So currently I'm technically a senior, but I'll be doing an extra year at New Jersey State University. I'm a double major in media arts and national security with a minor in African American history. So I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with my life, but I know I have always been drawn to more creative fields. So I think right now the plan is to graduate, get a job in the security field, pad my pockets a little bit, and then look for a job in a more creative field that would be a lifetime career. Whether that's not even just music, but film and television.
Oh, that's cool. Well, before I leave here, just remind me to give you my account and router number, just in case, you say you want to make a slight donation to me. I'm with that, you know what I'm saying? Guys, let's talk about music. How do you get your music? How do you encounter it?
Usually Tracksource and Bandcamp if it don't get sent to me. A lot of people, they send me stuff and just like, here, you like it, play it. If not, it is what it is. I get files with like 1,000 tracks in it, 200 tracks. It's just like, it's a lot to go through at times, but sometimes you gotta sit there and just wing it out.
Cipher out, right?
Yeah, but a lot of my stuff is on Tracksource, or following a lot of different producers and stuff. Usually South African producers. Right. Because a lot of people over here, they don't really know about a South African producer, so they got a lot of sleeper tracks. And
I think they should, because that's what everybody's vibing through right now.
They got the young generation into house over there, and the M piano. South Africa's really doing it big. So
that's what's up. Amir, let's talk about you, because your caliber of music is amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, I listened when I was at the Summit. I'm like, okay, this guy's really, really doing his thing. So tell the viewers, how do you actually get to the music, and have you broken any records yet as far as playing?
I don't think I think I've maybe once or twice broken a record, but I find myself, again, going on Spotify, I said this earlier, but I'm going on Spotify and I'll put in a bunch of songs that I know I like and I know I want to play. And then Spotify usually has a recommended list based on those songs with whatever algorithm they use. And I get some tracks from there, of course, go on Tracksource. I find myself going Tracksource and Beatport between those two, whatever is cheaper at the moment, whoever has the coupon codes, because it is an expensive hobby.
Very much. Very much.
I found myself purchasing a lot more music, even as I'm really taking it with full grasp of, I think last few months maybe spent like $200 on music, just trying
Yeah.
to buy, and diversify. Because I find that sometimes I might get into like a rut where I play the same thing each gig because I like that music, and I've never been good with chains, so that's part of that.
My question to both of y'all is, if you wasn't actually doing this right now as being DJs, what do you think you guys be doing?
I'll be sitting home gaming. Honestly.
Well, I can understand your point, because you're young and stuff like that. But do you think that you'd be into something that would actually make you just as successful as DJing right now?
Probably not.
You don't think, you can't think of anything?
Nah.
Well, I know for a fact I would probably be video and photography as I am now, just as much as I am now, even if music wasn't there. Because I've been video editing since I was in high school.
Okay.
So that's always been a side passion of mine.
Right.
But DJing's always taken the main front. So I'd probably be doing that, shooting short films and all that. I love screenwriting. So.
Okay, that's cool. When I get rich, stuff like that, I'm gonna call you up, man. I need an extra editor.
Yeah, let me know.
My question to you guys is that, futuristically, as DJs, where would you actually want to take this at least 5 years from now? Where do you think you'll be at with this?
Hopefully overseas.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of traveling. I want to get to Africa. I'm telling you, man. Africa is like a beautiful continent, and that's always had the young people in the house. That's like where I want to be, honestly. But I was talking to Mark Francis, and he was like, they're not really bringing people from the U.S. to South Africa right now. So yeah, it's hard to get over there from what I hear. So
it's who you know,
definitely
what you know.
Yeah,
plenty of networking. It's like when you're out there gigging, man. It's even the most strangest looking person could be the most important person. I've through the years of me playing music, man, I've learned to observe everybody that comes my way. And then somebody coming to me and say, "Do you know who that was?" And I'd be like, "No." And they tell me, I'd be like, "Oh, okay." My whole thing is that due to the fact that y'all do this right now and stuff, let's talk about studio production now. Have you ever tried to do a track?
Yeah, editing. I do a lot of edits right now.
Really?
Yeah.
How about producing?
Producing, dabbing into it right now. I get on the piano and I just type, make a little something happen or whatever. And then, that's just how I'm doing right now. I'm getting into it though. Mark Francis said he wanted to help me. Mark Lewis wanted to help me. Jihad, Beloved. So it's just a matter of getting over there and really seeing how I'm observing, because I haven't got a chance to observe anybody, so I'm just kind of just going off my ear right now of what sounds good.
Well, it's been a pleasure having both of you on my show, man. I want you guys to come again. And this has been another T-Lo video production. My guest, JustheDj, DJ Amir, in the house, okay? And you guys stay tuned for another episode.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.